Hello?
Hello, Jacob.
Hey. Just see if I can get you hooked up to my Bluetooth thingy. I don't think I can with Messenger. But you can hear me fine?
Yeah, I can hear you great, man.
Well, that won't work then.
All right, dude. Well, you are live right now on the show, man. We just got done blasting The Odor of Sanctity. Fucking
hell yeah.
That's a badass track, man. The whole record's awesome, though. But I mean, fuck.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. You're welcome, man. So tell us. I mean, what's going on in the world of Defeated Sanity? What are you guys up to right now?
Okay. Yeah, the album's out about a month and some change now. So time leading up to that was very busy getting all that lined up, of course. Then we had a little bit of a gap and things calmed down a little bit for the holidays, which is nice, of course. And in about 2 weeks or so, I'm flying out to Europe, and we're starting our basically our release tour, our headliner tour in Europe on the. I'm flying on the 17th, but we're not. The tour's starting on like 23rd, I believe. So that's the next big thing coming up.
Very nice, man. Very nice. So, for people out there that don't know, can you give us a little, like a brief history on the band? Like, how long have you guys been doing this? How did you get started?
Yeah, sure, of course. So the band has existed longer than I have been in the band. So they started in about 1994, which is a little bit loose. Like, there's no real. I mean, it was basically Lilla, the drummer, as a pretty young guy with his dad, recording demos in their jam space for year after year after year. So many demos, and eventually they even had Lilla's brother playing bass. So proper family band at first, playing metal and shit. It's pretty cool. But a few years later, I think I don't know if they really played shows till like the late 90s, really, and then. Some of you guys that are listening might know Christian Münzner, who played in Necrophagist, Obscura, and a bunch of other bands. He was in the band late 90s to early 2000s, and then he left for Necrophagist after that. Then, first album came out in 2004, and right after that I joined. So it's been pretty drastic change musically since. Pretty much from the time after I joined, been geared towards brutal technical death metal. And the new album, Chronicles of Lunacy, is album number 7 now. Number 6 with me on it.
Hell yeah, man.
So,
hell yeah.
So that's the brief history. Obviously, we've toured our asses off in the entire world and been on 3 different labels, had member changes and stuff, but that would take all night if I want to go into all of that.
Well, if they need to know that shit, they can go Google search you guys. I'm sure it's all there, man. That's right. Well, can I ask though, how's it been so far with Season of Mist, man?
It's been great, yeah. It was like one of our top targets to like hit up, to release the new album. Really stoked it worked out, because the guys were equally as stoked to have us and have been very supportive, very professional, have been guiding us through this entire process, been scheduling interviews like this one, helping with all of that. It's been really great.
Yeah. I got to give a shout out to Will for helping set this up, man. He's very very professional. Very he's always in my inbox, man. So he's
Super.
a good dude.
Yeah. Shout out to Will. He's a great guy.
But yeah, I've always thought Season of Mist was a good label. Lot of man. There's so many quality bands that they've released. A lot of really good stuff.
Sure. Still growing too, like especially in the death metal world. They've been signing a bunch of bands. So yeah, definitely, I want to say probably top label right now outside of the majors.
Hell yeah, man! Hell yeah! So looking back on your career, I know you mentioned touring the world and playing with all kinds of places. What's some of your favorite moments that you've had so far? Like some of your favorite shows that you played at, festivals, etc.
Yeah, too many to list them all, but let me see if I can point down a few. definitely my first U.S. tour was a big deal. That was 2008. That was just because I literally turned 21 the day of the first show. And, you know, in Germany, we're legal with 18, like, fully legal, like, being able to drink and everything. And I just remember, like, walking into the first venue was in Boston at the Great Scott, I think it was called. And it was on my birthday, and the bouncer checked my ID. You know, something that we're not used to. Like, we're a band, nobody checks our ID in Europe, you know. We're here to play. But anyway, dude checks my ID and is like, happy birthday. And then after that, he checked Wolfgang's ID, and that was Lilla's dad. He was in his 50s, but they were like, this is crazy. Dude's got gray hair and getting ID'd, but you know, it's their job. It's what they do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know. I'm 47, man. I'm almost all the way gray now, and I still get carded when I go to the liquor store. I go to buy beer, man. It's crazy. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. Like, the fines must be crazy or something. They have to do this.
Yeah.
But that was my first time overseas. I mean, now I live here. And have been for a few years, but that was a big deal, of course. And I want to say Russia too. We played in Russia 3 times, and unfortunately, that's one of those that's like, I don't know if that's going to be possible again anytime soon. But we got 3 tours between the years 2007 and 2011, pretty much just a few years before. Like, shit started to go down between them and Ukraine, and you know, now I don't hear any bands touring over there, obviously, but that was rough and really rewarding at the same time. Touring in Russia, I can say that. That was a crazy time.
I can imagine, man. There's a lot of metalheads over there, you know. There's a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of people, you know, and they don't have anything to do with any of the political bullshit or any of that stuff. You know, it's really unfair.
Exactly.
That they have to, you know. I don't know.
Yeah. That's 100% true. I mean, you know, even then, I mean, Russia has always been, like, politically, like, you know, with Germany. I was born in East Germany, so, you know, we weren't too fond of their their occupation time over there, obviously. But I would never hold that against, like, individuals, of course. I mean, I've made some good friends over there and had great times. And, you know, politics is not a part of that.
Yeah. We have a lot of listeners over there too for our radio.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's crazy, man. Like, fucking, I don't know. They must be using a VPN or something. I don't know.
Yeah, probably, because it's not easy for them, like, to use, like, Facebook and Google and stuff like that. So I'm not sure how all that works.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's a different world. I mean, we played China too, and you know, that's another one of those where you have to, like, use a VPN to, like, go on Facebook and message your friend or something. So yeah, China was definitely also another crazy one that we've done, and probably will more likely be doing that one again though.
Hell yeah! Well, go take us back to the beginning and tell us about some of your influences growing up. Like, what were some of the bands that got you into playing this music?
Cool. Yeah. So my personal influences when I grew up, like, I started out with mostly classical music. Just basically my parents, especially my mom, she loved classical records, and I was into it. And then my parents, I wanted to play the guitar, so my parents signed me up for lessons that were classical guitar, which, you know, they just wanted me to learn that. And then through playing classical guitar, I appreciated classical music more. And so basically into my teens, I was mostly playing classical, but then I heard, like, you know, actually funny, because I was like 9 years old when I heard the Black Album by Metallica, and I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I can't even describe why, but, you know, it has the you know, it has the melodic aspect of classical music with the heaviness, obviously, of metal that I was unfamiliar with, but it, like, immediately, you know, captivated me. And then basically that was my starting point. Metallica was my first band. I mean, you know, I'm not alone. Pretty much like half of all metalheads probably started with that. But yeah, it just really drew me into that, like the guitar work, the neoclassical elements. Definitely went into, like, power and thrash metal next. And then coming out of that, I, you know, was at the age where I wanted to hear more extreme stuff. So death metal was not far, you know, discovered death metal pretty soon, and one of my first bands was Nile and Morbid Angel. Then quickly after that, I heard of Dying Fetus, and then, you know, basically a whole world of brutal death metal opened up to me from then on. So that's where I came from. And then I played in a technical death metal band that was a little bit on the mathcore technical side, a little like Cephalic Carnage influenced, which was also a band that was influencing me. And playing in that band is when I met Lila, who then asked me, you know, to join the Feet Sanity, because there weren't that many people around where we both lived, even though it's a big city in Berlin, but it's not that many people around who listen to this particular technical, brutal, crazy, wicked death metal stuff. So we just kind of found each other there.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome, dude. And you know what? Yeah, you are definitely not alone when you say Metallica, and you mentioned that, because I can tell you right now, I've interviewed I don't know how many bands, hundreds, man, maybe even thousands at this point. I'd say 98% of everybody that I talk to says Metallica when we're talking about influences, like when you're young, and I mean that's just, you know. I mean, this
is the biggest band.
They're still huge, but I mean, that record in particular, I remember, man. I remember, of course, I'm a little bit older, so I was into the hair metal and stuff like that in the '80s, because that's really all that was accessible at the time.
Right.
But I remember when Metallica hit the scene, they did that video for One, and I saw that, and that changed everything. I was like, what is this, you know, and then started digging into it, and then they did the Black Album right after that, and it just exploded, man. And then, of course, that opened up the gates, you know, because at the time, radio stations, they were primarily playing, you know, Motley Crue and stuff like that, but after that, they started playing Testament and Sepultura and fucking Overkill and all this shit, and
no, they were a big gateway band.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, no, without them, I mean, you know, who's to say? I mean, I probably would have ended up listening to metal one way or another, but they were definitely, unsurprisingly, my first gateway drug.
Hell yeah, man, hell yeah. And you know that record still sells millions of copies every week? Every week?
Yeah, I imagine. I mean, you know, when Lars was fighting Napster and stuff, I'm sure he did that for a reason, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, they're living off of that stuff, you know, like unimaginable for us, of course, but just the amount of records that they move, and used to move even more, I guess. But yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It makes me laugh though, like when I see that, because I'm like, who on this planet doesn't already own that record or several copies of it? You know what I mean? Like I got a few copies of it.
Right. I don't know, man. I mean,
it's cool.
I have no idea.
It's cool.
It still happens. Yeah, it's great. You know, maybe one day people appreciate what we do as much as people appreciate Metallica. Who knows?
Well, absolutely, man. Death metal is like one of my favorite genres, dude. I fucking love it, man. And ever since Deicide and like you said, Morbid Angel and Obituary and all that stuff. You know, Dying Fetus. Suffocation, man, fucking all that stuff, dude. Yeah.
Now, Suffocation was like discovering Metallica. It was like another one of those moments where like a whole nother world basically opens up in front of you. And you know, they're my real gateway to like the heavy and twisted death metal shit. Like, you know, Legion of Veracity, of course, that was the song I heard first, you know, and it's just wow, you know, you can do that. and be groovy and catchy and so obscure and technical at the same time.
And the artwork on all those records too, like you could sit there and stare at the CDs, you know, and just while you're listening to it and fall into the artwork, the picture of it, take you to another world, man.
Yeah, man, it's all a piece of the art, of the overall art. Yeah.
Well, speaking of artwork, though, I'm sitting here looking at your record right now, and it's fucking beautiful, man. I love it, dude. This is brutal. It's fucking devastating. What the fuck, man? Who did this?
Awesome.
Who did this shit?
It's John Zig again. So John Zig has been part of the Defeated Sanity history for a while. He did the last album cover. Actually, he did the last 2 album covers. And he, even further back, he did the Defeated Sanity logo. Our logo is designed by him too.
Nice.
So yeah, we've been working with him a lot, and I'm actually super happy with this new cover. It's probably my favorite of his that he's done for us. And yeah, I think it will look great. I still don't have the record, so I'm gonna, when I go to Berlin in a couple of weeks, I have my record waiting there for me, and just to look at it like up close. Still haven't really gotten a chance to do that. Obviously, I have the file on my computer, but it's just not the same. You know.
Yeah, it's like it looks like you're looking into a crypt or something, and there's all these corpses everywhere, and then there's I don't know if it's like Mother Mary or something sitting in the middle with the baby.
Yeah, it's like a nun. Yeah,
it's crazy, man. It's badass.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot to discover, man. And we've been shooting ideas back and forth in among us band members, but also with John Zig. And one of my favorite parts is actually, I don't know if you can see it, but we were thinking, because the whole theme of the lyrical theme is like lunacy, right? It's like mental illness, essentially. And every song has a different topic of some mental illness or delusion, and we wanted to somehow merge together like a neural net, how like the neural network, like the brain looks, and then also a what do you call that in English again, the like the the rubber walls of like a mental asylum, the word I can't think of right now, but you know what I'm saying, where they can't hurt themselves.
Padded cell,
like a padded cell. So you look, exactly, so when you look at the artwork and you see all the details, the corpses, the faces, and all the nun, all that stuff, but then surrounding, she's in this room that looks like a padded cell, like in a mental home, and it's got like the neural web covering it, like of the brain web covering it.
Yeah.
And that's so cool, in my opinion, how he managed to merge all that together.
Yeah, there's so much detail in there, man.
Yeah, I'm really proud of it.
It's really cool, man. Speaking of detail, the sound on this record is very detailed, man. There's so much going on. The blast beats, the riffs, the bass, the vocals.
Yeah.
You guys even have some of those fucking low those low bass
the
notes
bass drops
that come in there.
The bass drops.
I love that shit, man. I love that shit.
Yeah, dude. And the best part is that all that stuff is like really like handmade, if you will, right? We're not using like a stock bass drop sample or anything. It's all Colin in his like studio. He's got all these synths and like literally putting the bass drops in live, kind of, and he's a master of like really arranging an intricate, like making such an intricate like mix work that it still sounds cohesive, even though there's so much going on. And I love how the bass is super audible, but not in the way, in my opinion. Like obviously me, the bassist, I always struggled with bringing my point across, like to most people, like, hey, I need to be able to hear the notes that I'm playing, hear what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And to Colin, I don't even have to say that, because he just mixes that way anyway, and it was just perfect.
Oh yeah. And, I mean, the mix on that, it's amazing, and that's a lot of work to do that too. Like I know because I'm a musician myself, and I mix my own stuff too. So I know, man, when you have so much stuff like that going on, it's really fucking difficult to mix it right to where you can hear everything and it's still intricate. And but he's doing it, man. Like this you can hear everything on this. I love it, man.
Oh, that's great. That makes me happy. Like I feel that way too. And thank you for pointing that out. I'm really proud of this of the production overall.
For all the gearheads out there, man, can you give us a rig rundown, like some of the stuff that you guys were using in the studio?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, the drums I can't speak too much about. Lilla, obviously, he used a drum kit that Colin provided in the studio because he was flying in from Germany, so he just brought his cymbals and stuff. So I'm not exactly sure what drum kit it actually is. I know Lilla plays a Pearl, but it's a Black Beauty snare, which is like the one that Lilla has been using on every album. But this one actually was Colin's. It's just the exact same model. So I know that. And then for cymbals, he uses mostly Sabian stuff. I know that too. But when it comes to bass and guitar, I can say a few more things. And that's like the thing that really makes the guitar tone is that fucking amp pack, right? That VH head, VH140 or whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called, but that thing.
I know.
Man. Is that Sappho amp, right? Sappho Fetus, like all those bands used that thing in the 90s.
Old school.
And you probably know it. And so obviously scooped all the mids, like, and because the thing doesn't scoop enough mids, we put another EQ pedal before that and scooped more mids. And yeah, obviously drive to the max. And yeah, no amp sim or anything, right? It's reamped. Like we did do a reamp run at the end, but it's all like legit like microphone in a room recording that stuff, right? And it's the same with the bass. Like a rig I'm using is it's a German amp called Glockenklang, which is probably not really, most people are not familiar with it because it's like a little boutique firm in Germany. They're all making that stuff by hand and really quality shit. And then I'm using a Sans amp with it in the effects loop to give it a little extra drive. And same thing, like it's not direct, it's like mic'd from the cab, both the bass and the guitar, and just kind of giving that organic sound. Because I feel like when you go direct, it always makes it all sound a little bit too interchangeable. It takes a little bit of the character away. So yeah, everything is mic'd, and then the vocals are obviously, I mean, okay, so I guess I should add that when we do record, we always play together. So that's been the case on every album. So it's like Lilla, me, Vaughn, no vocals, but like all the instruments, they all play together. And then when Lilla has his perfect take, he calls, all right, that was it, moving on to the next one or whatever. So the drums are being prioritized, but we all play together. And then when we go into the guitar bass recordings, first the bass and the guitar, we listen back. So if Lilla needed 3 takes, or because that's really all he needs, maybe 4, to get a song right. And so that means there are now 3 or maybe 4 takes of bass sitting there, and then we listen and we're like, hey, the warm-up take, all right, maybe not so good, but take 2, 3, and 4, there's like great shit in all of this already. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll try to patch together a take from what's already on there, what's been recorded along with the full band. And then we go through, and once we've done that, we go through and see what we can make better, right? Like, is there something that needs to be fixed? Is not something that maybe I played a wrong note, or that can just groove a little bit better or something, and then we'll patch things up. And at the end, we'll basically just reamp the whole thing, and then Josh comes in and does his vocals on top. So that's kind of how we're doing it.
That is really cool, man. That is really cool, man. Because you're capturing the vibe of the live band and the essence of it being live, but at the same time you're able to go in there and pull out the best parts from each performance and then put it together.
Yep,
into
that's
one,
exactly
man.
the way you do it.
Perfect.
That's how we do it, and it keeps the vibe organic, and that's, I think, what a lot of people are saying, that they like this album, or even earlier albums, they were saying that what they like about us is that everything sounds organic. And it's also what some people don't like about us. You know, there's some people who is like, it sounds not perfect enough or whatever. You know, there's people like that too, but that's just what we do. We want to make it still sound like us humans playing music.
Yeah, no, I think that's great, man. That's what I like about it, and I think that's that's probably what a lot of people are gravitating to it for, man. It's just that feeling. Yeah,
man. I mean, that's what we're going for, and some people might not be into it, but exactly that's what they can expect from us, and they'll find it. And yeah, I'm very happy with it.
Well, speaking of live, what can you tell people to expect at a live show with you guys if they've never seen you before? What is it like when they're in front of the stage, man?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same thing. Like the only difference is really, okay, so live we only have one guitar, of course. In the studio we overdub a second guitar. We can't do that live. So there's a few differences. In general, I think people can expect full force brutality, of course, and it's still a death metal show after all. So we're not trying to make it like a sterile technical show off fest, right? It's death metal we throw down and the fans throw down. It's definitely pitting going on at every show. And yeah, it's just, we don't do backing tracks and none of that. It's just like, it's a live raw show, and we don't play with a click either, so it's gonna be a little bit different every time you see us. The nuances are gonna change a little bit tempo wise. You know, someday we might feel like playing just a little faster, another day we might feel like playing a little slower. That just, you know, is also what we really what we like to separate ourselves from many bands nowadays that play with a click even live, and we just don't want to do that, because then every show is just going to be the same. So yeah, you can definitely expect a raw, brutal death metal show.
Hell yeah, man. And unique.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
Hell yeah. All right, well, for people out there listening, where's the best place for them to go to support you guys, buy merch, buy music and stuff like that?
Okay, I mean, there's many ways to do that, of course. The best place is always come to a show, right? Buy it straight from us at the merch table. That's the best support you can ever give us. If you want to buy it online, we have a website. It's simply defeatedsanity.com that has a bunch of links for merch, US-based merch, European-based merch. Then there's Bandcamp, of course. There's Reality Fade. Reality Fade has some merch from us. Here Tees has some merch from us. Indie Merch has some merch articles. So yeah, all of these, I mean, whatever you want to do, it all helps. It all supports the cause. But if you can make it to a show and get the shit straight from us, that's always the best.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, man. Have you guys ever played in Tennessee?
Of course, yes. We've played in Knoxville for sure.
Nice.
And I want to say we played in Nashville too, but yeah, you know what? I think so. I think we played in Nashville too, but that's a little longer ago, maybe 2015-ish, I think. Where are you at in Tennessee?
I'm in Jackson, Tennessee, right in between Memphis and Nashville.
Okay, right on. Yeah, I've never been in Memphis, so I'm not sure how many tourists come there, but where do you go for shows? What's the nearest, like, where do tourists come through?
Memphis has a really cool metal scene, dude.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I've seen a lot of cool bands there. They got some cool clubs, and it's really cool, man.
Hell yeah. Well, I hope we'll get there someday.
Hell yeah.
For sure.
Hell yeah. All right, well, is there anything else you want to let the people know? Do you guys have anything coming up?
Yeah, I mean, for the U.S. tour, there's going to be an announcement. I don't know when, but there's a tour in the making, so just stand by and keep your eyes and ears peeled. Come to a show then and support us there.
Fuck yeah. All right, well, Jacob, I'm about out of questions for you. Before I let you go, can I get you to make us a station tag real quick?
Yeah, how do I do that?
All right, whenever you're ready, say something like, "This is Defeated Sanity, and you are listening to Metal Devastation Radio."
All right, let's go. What's up, guys? This is Defeated Sanity. You're listening to Metal Devastation Radio.
Fuck yeah.
All right.
All right, man. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us. I really appreciate it. And
of course. Thank you for having me.
What I'm going to do now is I'm going to blast some more Defeated Sanity for these motherfuckers so they can go crazy, all right?
All right. Sounds like a plan.
All right, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, anytime, dude. We'll talk to you later.
Awesome, man. Take it easy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
There you have it, folks. Defeated Sanity live on the Zach Moonshine Show with Metal Devastation motherfucking radio. Like I said earlier, put your speakers in your windows, put them in your front lawns, put them in your neighbor's driveway, do whatever you got to do, man. If you don't see U-Haul trucks everywhere tomorrow,